20 minutes ago, and I'm having a hard time moving right now. So I'm going to be pretty stationary, and probably not nearly as energetic as typical, but just bear with me here as we go through this. So much better, I'll say that, much better since Advanced Training 1 when I asked you guys to say page 15. Obviously I can tell a lot of you took that to heart and you really got it down. You spent some quality time getting really good at it, and that's going to help you a tremendous amount. So just first off, if you got it memorized, thank you for taking the time to get that down. If you don't have it memorized, you already know my thoughts on it, but you got to make sure that's memorized. You got to know it at your core. If you're going to get the results you want and you're going to succeed, you gotta memorize that thing. It's got to be down. You got to know it, and really critical. I'm going to teach you guys some advanced stuff today when it comes to referrals, which is awesome. But the reality is, if you're not even like asking properly, it's not even going to do you any good. Like, if I ever have someone in my office that's like, yeah, I'm having a hard time with referrals, no one's giving me any referrals. My first question is like, all right, well, let me hear the approach really quick. Almost all, like, I'd say like 90% of the time, those people, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm still working on that. Every single time, it's like, yeah, I'm still working on that. Or it's like they say it, but it's not really the approach. And I won't even sit down. I'm like, here, look, go memorize this. Memorize it. Really memorize it. And we can talk. And typically, once they get it memorized, they don't usually come back and ask for help again. Because then they start seeing their shift. And all of a sudden, people go from like all of a sudden blowing them off, not being able to come up with anyone, to all of a sudden consistently coming up with like 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 referrals every single time. And the main thing, guys, is your confidence. Your confidence is everything when it comes to asking. It's not even so much that like every word is what's going to make or break the deal. Like I say, you want to know it word for word, because when you know it word for word, your confidence naturally is higher because you know you're saying the right approach. You know, and that's the most important thing, is your confidence that it's just no big deal. And it's just like, yeah, well, hey, and Joan, actually, while I'm writing up the order here, this last part is probably, frankly, probably the most important thing for me. Because I know I was telling you guys in the beginning, working on towards that fast start contest, and basically, I am on a mission to do everything in my power to make sure I see 20 people before Monday. And this is literally where you guys can probably help me out the most, because I get paid every time I just show up, but I can only call people who've given me permission. So what I'd like you to do, just while I'm cleaning up here, is just jot down 7 to 10 people, and just their names only, and not necessarily people who are going to bucket. Just people nice enough to take a look. And here's a pen, sheet of paper to write them on. Just times means you can. I really think the soul for your help on that. That helps out a bunch. You know, it's when you can just look in the eye and say that, the approach is very confident. The approach is going to force you to be more confident than you probably naturally are. You know, and I'm just going to pick on you a little bit, because the sentence that's most important is, what I'd like you to do while I'm cleaning up is jot down 7 to 10 people. What you had incorporated of your own was like, if you could possibly. If you could possibly. That's like saying maybe. Okay. Now, Kayla is the only one who said it in front of me, but I guarantee a lot of you are still saying things like that in the appointment when you're in front of the desk. Why? Because it makes you feel more comfortable. That's why. You just gotta like get over that aspect, and like you can still say it in a way that's not pushy, that still comes off the right way. You know, it's just like, yeah, so what I'd love you guys to do, just while I'm cleaning up, is to jot down 7 to 10 people, and just their names only. But you actually have to look them in the eye and say, I want you to write down 7 to 10 people. That's one of the hardest parts of the whole approach, to like look them in the eye and say that. It's hard. I know, because I did it. It's hard. But once you've done it enough times, you get comfortable with it, and you'll find that a lot of people just do it. You know, if you want to make it a little easier, joke about it. Just like, so what I'd love you to do is just write down like 80 to 100 people. And they're like, what? Nah, I'm just kidding. Most people just do like 7 to 10. Okay. You know, and they're like, you know, after you say like 80, you know, Jaquel's like, I mean, what I'd really love is like, if you could write down like 200 to 300 people. And they're like, are you serious? No, I'm not. But if you could do like 10 to 15, that'd be awesome. And they're like, I could probably do that. You know, and all of a sudden it's like after you're, so if you want, joke about that part, that's fine. But you still gotta ask for 7 to 10. Don't ask for a few, don't ask for like a couple, ask for, 7 to 10. Now, on the second box, the sentence that's most important, that a lot of reps also kind of put those little maybe indefinite words into, is the third one. So it would be great if you could help me get in touch with some people right now. You have to look them in the eye and say that. Just like, and so Hunter, it would be awesome if you could help me get in touch with some of these people right now. And here's what most of my customers say, like when you give them a call, if you could, just tell them a little bit about me, just let them know my name's James, let them know that I'm a student down at Boise State right now, and I'm just trying to, earn some money while I'm on my break. And, just let them know the appointments are really quick and easy. And I guess the biggest thing though, Hunter, is make sure they know that they don't have to get anything at all. Because I get paid just to be able to do the appointment. And if you could, just ask them if they'd be alright for me to give them a quick call sometime. And by the way, when you get me 2 people that do say yes, I can actually throw in the vegetable peeler for free. So on this list right here, Hunter, like who do you think would actually probably be the best person to call first?
Probably Patty.
Would you be willing to give her a call really quick while I'm still here?
Sure.
You're awesome. Okay, now, again, that's hard to do. It's hard to look them in the eye and say that. You'll notice when you're like, here's what most of my customers say, when you're talking to them, it's like, here's what we're about to say. You notice that? It's not like, so do you think you might be able to help me try and get in touch with some of these people, maybe? Yeah, I can. I'll call them tonight. Oh, okay. And then you never even got a chance to go into the top of the sheet. Why? Because you didn't follow your approach. You didn't just follow it and just do it. You just got to say it. Just go point by point by point by point. And you'll be amazed what happens if you just follow it. The approach will force you to be a lot more confident than you naturally are. That's a really big key, guys. So, got to memorize it. You still got to be you. Got to just be yourself. You still got to use the approach. So, all right. Having said that, we had pockets of you that had some great success over these last 2 days. We had a lot of you who had a heck of a time getting appointments set up over these last 2 days. Okay? It was 1 or 2 things. Like, we had Curtis yesterday. Curtis is driving from Mountain Home, and so he's going to be really late right now, but he's coming in. Curtis had a $2,600 day yesterday. And like I said, New Year's Day can be an awesome day. It can be huge. It can also be El Seco. If you didn't get any appointments, it was probably a rough day. And so if you had a great day, awesome, great. If you had a challenging day getting appointments, don't worry about it, guys. You were with a lot of other people who kind of had a similar situation. What we found is that some people who had a hard time getting a hold of people had some great results on the phone getting demos set up. Alex Don, our office guys all met Alex. He originally wanted like 5 demos yesterday. He ended up only being able to get 1 set up. But he got 6 more appointments set up in the afternoon, just making phone calls and telling me he was going to be doing some appointments. So, might have been good, might not have been good. I do want to recommend this couple. Yeah, Haley's car broke down on the way here on Monday, so she wasn't able to be here. But Haley right now, what are you at total right now? 16, 1700?
I think a little over 16, and then Shelby got hired as well, so that's another 1,000.
Sweet. So you got a friend coming into training today, so that gives you an extra 1,000 towards your fast talk prizes. So about 1,600 with what you've sold. How many appointments have you done total so far?
About 11.
Cool. All right. So 11 appointments, and also won some good Cutco there. Nice work. We have a couple of you who haven't been able to do any appointments since Advanced Training 1 yet, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Belle, also got your first sale. By the way, you were the first sale called in the group, Belle. I know you couldn't be here on Monday because you were out of town, but make sure you get that little prize that you won before you go. I've got it. Actually, wait, I might have it here. I do have one. Okay, so here you go. You get a you get a shear sheath, so instead of the white cardboard box for your shears, you get a nice leather sheath. So, yeah, here, Kayla, will you do me a favor and hand that back? My bad. Alright, so either way, Belle, getting your first sale, nice job. We also have, let's see here, like I said, you guys heard Curtis, he couldn't be here on Monday, but Curtis actually is #1 in the group right now. He's over 4,000 so far. So he's had a good couple days. We also have, let's see, looking for other positive news outside of just appointments lined up for today and tomorrow. Ben sold another couple $100 or almost a couple $100, so putting you literally like $300 away from your second promotion right now, which is really solid. And Chelsea got 6 more referrals off of 1 appointment since Advanced Training 1, so really nice job there, Chelsea. It's awesome. And then cool. I have everyone's sheet at this point though, right? Excellent. Alright, so let's dive in. Before we start in with any new stuff, I want to do a little review from what we talked about in advanced training on Monday with the bonus points. So does anyone have any questions about bonus points or the trade-in special at this point in time?
Yeah.
Yes, Sophia.
So for closing,
Mm-hmm.
like now that we know about bonus points, do we still tell them that they can get the kitchen tools and shears for free?
Yeah, here's the deal. I would offer kitchen tools and shears for free most of the time. If you know for a fact that they like something else a lot, like I'm showing them the accessories, I'm going through the accessories, and the wife is like drooling over like the garden tools. She's like, oh my gosh, I've been needing some good garden tools forever. I hate mine. And she's like going off about like how much she hates her garden stuff and like thinks the garden tools are just like awesome. That's probably something I'll throw in for free, and I'll offer her that as a free item versus like the kitchen tools and the shears. You know, and the garden tools are still like $200 worth of free stuff. It's a pretty sweet little gift. So I might be like, here, I'll tell you what, if let me explain our first call special. The first call special allows me to give you some free merchandise if you place one on my first visit. So if you do get this set today, I can do one of 2 things. I can throw in a matching kitchen tool set and a free pair of shears. Or, I know you really like those garden tools that I was showing you earlier. You could also get the whole garden tool set for free as well, which is also about a $300 set right there too. And so, I bring it up that way. So, depending on what they're into, I might offer them something different. Now, if you're not sure, throw in kitchen tools and shears. You can do that. So if you really want to, you could even say you can get, I can throw in like $250 worth of free Cutco. You know, it could be out of anything you've seen so far, from the hunting and fishing stuff to the gardening stuff to that cheese knife and ice cream scoop. So you can kind of give them a dollar amount too if you want to do that, and just kind of let them pick and choose. You could also do that if you wanted to. Any other question on the bonus points? Anything? Okay, I want to do a little check for just make sure we're on the same page here. Someone give me an example of a like list that you wrote up in the last 2 days that they did not buy. Alright, David, let's get a like list here. What they got?
Wanted the vegetable knife,
Okay,
cleaver,
okay,
the Santoku, the traditional cheese knife, and the gourmet block.
yeah. Is that it? Okay. How much is the vegetable knife?
126,
Cleaver,
117.
Santoku is 115. Traditional cheese knife is 74.
Yes,
And the block?
130.
And what's the normal price? Do you have that figured out?
617.
What did you offer them for free?
The what was it? I think the block
Okay.
is
So good thing for you guys to remember. Never offer a block for free ever.
Oh.
Here's why. If you look in your price list, which you should definitely grab your price list out right now so you can kind of follow along with how we do this. Blocks are horrendous when it comes to the point value. Like for example, the point value and the price on blocks are almost identical. Whereas opposed to, it's like, what's the block point value?
125.
125. It's like no break. Now, what about, just use the cleaver for example. How much is the cleaver? 172. What's the points on the cleaver though?
66.
It is? Okay, so cleaver's not good either. A lot of steel in there. How about a Santoku though? Santoku is 115, but what's the points on a Santoku?
109.
No, what's the point value?
70.
70. So it's literally almost 50 points less than the price. So there's definitely certain items that are better to offer for free because they're better point to price ratio here. So, you know, and by the way, is it that much cheaper for the Santoku? You know, I mean, that's still a pretty sweet discount there. So I'd say that'd be a better item to offer for free because it's going to give them, and shoot, like even the vegetable knife, what's the vegetable knife? What's the point value on that one? 75 points. That one would probably even be better. It's closer to like the same value as the block, but it's going to give you an extra like 50 CPO total at the end just by offering them that. So something just to pay attention to. So instead of offering every fifth item for free, if we were doing every fifth, we'd only be offering the traditional cheese knife. But using the point system, let's see if we can throw in the vegetable knife. So if we throw in the veggie knife for free, that would take off 126. And that brings us down from 617 to 491. No.
I have a question.
Yep.
I thought you said every fifth item.
Yep, you weren't here in advanced training, Bell, so this is not going to make any sense to you. So just don't worry about it.
Okay.
Try and pay attention, and we'll try and get you caught up later. All right. So 491. So what do we multiply this by to figure out how many points we get? 0.2. Or 0.25. I want to know my max. Now I know my max points that I can throw in for free is 122. So how many points is that vegetable knife? 75. So could we do it? Yeah, we totally could. Shoot, I could maybe even throw something else in for free just to like really try and sweeten the deal a little bit. Okay. So if that's 75, I know I have 122 points if I absolutely have to make this work. Just curious, how many points is it for the boning knife? It's 50? It's 50 points? Okay. So shoot, I can almost give them a boning knife for free on top of that too. You know, just to like be able to like try and sweeten the deal a little bit. You know, and actually give them a whole gourmet set. Give them a boning knife to fill in that block and make it a little better. So maybe have them buy a boning knife, give them the cheese knife for free, which is only like 45, 50 points. You could probably actually do it, but anyways. Now, we can do this on how many payments? 5. So 491 plus 8 plus 1.06 divided by 5 is 105. Okay. Alright. Does that make sense? You guys all see how we got this? Alright. Now, they said that was still too much, right?
No, well, that guy, he had some personal finance issues. He already owned a homemaker and he absolutely loved it. He just wanted to wait a little longer to expand to that.
Okay. So, did you drop down?
He just flat out told me, he's like, from there, he's like, I'm not going to get anything.
Yeah. So, that's fine. In order for you guys to get credit to do demo, you have to go all the way down to one piece. That's what your manual says. It's like, last step, step 6. Do you want to get at least your favorite piece? You you can always use that to your advantage in the sense of like, John, that's totally fine. Like I told you, you don't have to buy anything today. In order for me to get credit for doing the appointment, I do got to just show you like what each of your options are. We've just got a couple smaller ones on here I can show you really quick. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it, but you might see something that you like. I just throw it out there. Just like totally put them in ease. Like, John, that's totally cool. Like, I told you that. In order for me to get credit, I kind of want to go through this. And if you really want, you can just like, for the sake of me getting practice going through this, the way I'm supposed to go through it, do you mind if I show you what a couple of the smaller options are too? And they're usually like, when you put it like that, they're like, sure. Sweet. And frankly, guys, it's good for you to practice every time. And again, what's our average order? $250. That'd be equivalent to stopping on a starter set right here. That would have been equivalent to not even showing the like list, in a sense. So we can't stop here. And you're going to have people that do what David's customer did a lot. Oh, well, I know I'm not going to buy anything today. And they're going to say that at around $400 or $500. They're going to say that a lot. We know that like half of our sales, maybe more than that, take place below this, before the like list, before the first like list. That's going to be after that. So if you stop after the first like list, you're throwing half your sales out the window automatically. So keep that in mind. Also a good little learning lesson for when you have someone say something like that. Now, so then he humors me and says, sure, that's fine, like, cool. Well, a lot of people will get even just like a few things off their list too. So like, out of these 5 things on the list right here, Mr. Jones, what are like the 3 favorites? What are the 2 that you think would be easiest to live without? I would say obviously the block. Probably be a big one you could probably get by without for right now. But out of those other 4 knives, do you feel like you could get by without the cleaver? Be Mr. Jones one.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And what's obviously Mr. Jones going to say? Do you think you get by without a cleaver? Yeah. He's gotten by his whole life without it. He's going to be fine. Okay. So it's like, yeah, I definitely. Alright. Well, here, just really quick. One thing actually, for those 2 pieces, since these are a little more, what I might be able to do, I don't know if you can do this or not, and I say stuff like that a lot, just to like, see, it's like, well, so now I want to multiply this number by what? 241 to see if I can do what? What am I trying to figure out? What free stuff? Yeah, I want to know if I can throw in this cheese knife for free. Now, how many points is a cheese knife? 50. Well, if I take 241 and multiply by 0.25, it gives me 60 points. That means, yeah, I can throw in the cheese knife for free. And that saves them $74. So I gotta buy 2 knives. And then all of a sudden I can do this on a 3-pay. Well, and David, I just want to let you know, like I know you said you wanted to wait before you get any of this. If you wait, I mean, normally if you're going to get all this down the road, it would actually be over $300 to buy just those 3, the vegetable knife, the Santoku, and the cheese knife. But what I could do is if you got just the vegetable knife and the Santoku today, I can actually buy you the traditional cheese knife, which saves you $74. And it would only be $85 today though, and then just $85 over the next 2 months. So it drops off about $20 a month on the payment. Is that something you think might even work for your budget? Okay. Now again, you'd be amazed how many people tell you right here, I can't buy anything today. And then all of a sudden you're right here, and they're like, well, yeah, shoot, why not? Because they saw it. But if you're like, yeah, I can show you what it'd be for just a few things on here if you want. Oh no, I know I can't buy anything today. That's what everyone will say to that question. If you give the drop down on a like list as an option, they're always going to refuse. They're always going to be like, yeah, no, I can't buy anything today. Why? They're staring at $500. So, and they have no idea what kind of a deal you could give them. So, does that make sense? Now, if that's still a little much, let's do,
Thank you.
what's my last step?
Single line.
Single piece. You know, what was his favorite? You did the demo with him.
Yeah, he liked the veggie knife.
Okay, vegetable knife is his absolute favorite.
Yeah.
Okay? How many payments can we do? We can't do 2. Can we do any more than that? How much does someone have to spend to be able to do 3 payments?
250.
How much does someone have to spend to be able to do 5 payments? How many payments can they do if they spend over 100? 3. These are important things to remember, guys. Because now I can get this down to like $40. And I guarantee that customer that said he can't afford it is going to spend $40 between right now and Sunday. I promise you, he's going to spend $40 on something between right now and Sunday. And it's not a bill. It's going to be something he just buys because he wants it. So, now, by the way, could I throw in something for free?
Yeah.
Sure I could. Yeah, what could I throw in for free on that? Take 126, multiply by 0.25, throw in something worth 30 points or less. I could throw in a free can opener, I could throw in a free ice cream scoop, I could throw in a cutting board so he could actually use his vegetable knife. It's only 15 points. All kinds of stuff I could do. And I can do this on a 3-pay. 126 plus 4, that's my admin fee on a 3-pay, multiply by 1.06, divided by 3, 45 bucks. Well, here, if you want to, Mr. Jones, you could get just that vegetable knife today, and we could split it up on 3 payments, and it'll only be 46 bucks today, and then just 46 over the next 2 months. And if you do that, what it's going to do though, it's going to lock you in as a preferred customer. And so when you want to get the rest of the set later with the block, I'll be able to still throw in some free stuff, and you're going to save probably 10 to 20%, maybe even up to 30% next month when you do want to get all this stuff, just by getting at least this today. And then you'd also be getting that free cutting board, which saves you like 25 bucks. So, just wanted to let you know. You know, is that something you might be interested in? You'll sell a lot if you go all the way down every time. And by the way, was that like super pushy? No. It's like literally just like, hey, just so you know, you could do this. It's like they like Cutco, guys. They want it. But where did he stop? He stopped right here. And he stopped right here, even at $100. When in reality, shoot, I could get him something for 46 today, less than half of that, and still get him something for free. So if you don't go all the way down every single time, you are going to miss out on literally 50, 60% of your sales. Every single time. So that's a good example. Thank you for using that, by the way. Okay. Cool. Alright. Does that make sense? Everyone kind of understand how to use bonus points? You guys understand how this can help you make a lot of sales if you use it the right way? Right? Because bonus points, like if you go watch a top rep, you're going to notice that they don't really do anything special, but they're really good at making like lists. This is how they sell on 90% of their appointments. Because there's a lot of people who will tell you that's too much. There's a lot of people that will tell you that's too much. There's very few people that will tell you this is too much. If you actually write it down and ask them if they want it. So, you just got to give them a chance to see it. So, having said that, that's a little bit of review. Any questions on the trade-in special at all? Anything?
Can we go over it just so Bella and I can get a review?
Yeah, I will. And we'll catch you guys up on this so you guys will actually know how to do it. But let me just review how you should be introducing the trade-in special. Kayla, you're my customer. Okay? You're going to tell me the homemaker's too much, and I'm going to show the trade-in to you. And you're going to buy it.
Okay.
Cool. Alright, so, well, let me find my trade-in special sheet really quick. Alright, well, Kayla, like I said before, our basic set is, it just comes with the 10 tools that I explained earlier, plus it also comes with 8 of the table knives and a wood block. We do also have a homemaker set that comes without the table knives as well. Now, if you were considering one of these sets, would you say you'd prefer the one with the table knives?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, the great thing about this set though is it doesn't cost over $4,000. It would if it was in stores, but it doesn't. In fact, it's not even as much as Wusthoff's. Not even Wusthoff's sale price at $2,000 for the Homemaker Plus 8 set. This one is only $10.79. Now, most customers don't pay for it all at one time. Very few do that. Most customers just split it up over 5 months. It's interest free, so there's no interest at all on it. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to afford it. And if you split it up that way, it's only $230 today. And then it would just be $230 over the next 4 months. And then let me also explain our first call special. Basically what the first call special is, it allows me to offer you free merchandise if you do place an order on my first visit. So if you guys do try out the set, I can throw in a free matching kitchen tool set and a free pair of shoes, which the two combined is $292 if you're gonna just buy them yourself. It's $292 for the two. And so, no, Kayla, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't at least ask you this question. Would you like to try out the set and get the kitchen tools and shoes for free?
I just don't think I can afford it right now.
Okay, sure. I mean, it's understandable. We do have one option that we can do on this that makes it a little bit cheaper. Do you have any old knives that you just don't really like that much anymore?
Yeah, but they're completely destroyed.
Okay, I've actually seen that a lot. You'd be surprised. Well, what we have, it's called a trade-in special. Now, I wouldn't be able to offer the kitchen tools and the shears for free, but what I can do is I can take off $215 off of the price of the set if you trade in at least one old knife. It could even be some old destroyed nasty knife in your drawer somewhere. But instead of the set being $1,079, it actually brings it down to only $864. And you can still split it up on the 5 payments. And if you wanted to do it that way, it would only be $186 today. And then it would just be $186 over the next 1 month. So it takes about $50 off each payment. You know, how does that sound?
That's actually doable.
Would you like to go and try it out that way?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congrats, by the way. You're going to love your Cutco. You are going to use these for the rest of your life. Your kids are going to use these knives in probably 40, 50 years, which is kind of crazy to think about. But, yeah, and while I'm writing up the order here, Taylor, there is just one more part that's probably actually the most important, because I know I was telling you earlier, I'm working really towards that Fast Start contest, and I'm just basically trying to make sure I get these 25 appointments in before Monday. So this is probably where it can help me out the most, because I mean, you go right into recommendation process. So you don't skip a beat, just go into it. Just go right into referrals. Okay. But you guys understand how to incorporate that trade in? Now if she's like, well, James, I think that's still a little too much. Okay. Belle, if you have questions, since I haven't taught you the trade in.
Oh, no, I just have a question how much you took off, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Like how much is that? How much did you take off for like her knife?
I'm going to give you a sheet that will tell you all of it.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you a sheet that will tell you everything that I gave everybody to get training on. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's 215
Okay.
is what it was, though. Let's say Kayla was like, James, that's still too much, though, for us. I just don't think we can afford that. And then I'm like, all right, well, hey, no worries. You know, again, these sets right here, these are actually 2 of the bigger sets that we even have. Let me just show you 2 of our smaller sets a lot of people really like. The first one, it's our galley set. And what's sweet about this set is, I mean, it still has 6 of the table knives in there. And it's just a few less knives, but it's a lot less than the Homemaker was. Because what it is, basically everything that was in your Homemaker set, the only thing it's leaving out is it leaves out carving set and the butcher knife. And like I said, it still comes with 6 of the table knives. It's still got your paring knife in there, it's still got your trimmer, it's still got the spatula splitter, it's still got the petite carver, the turning fork, the chef knife, the slicer, it's still got all of that in there. And the galley set, instead of it being $10.79 though, like the Homemaker, this one's only $7.85. So it takes off about $250 off the set. And this one, you can still split it up onto 5 months, and if you want to do it that way, it's only $165. Now, if you do get that set, I can actually still let you have a set of kitchen tools or a free pair of shears too. And you can see that there. It's only about $165. And I'll let my customer look at it for a moment. And after they've looked at it for a few seconds, I'll just ask. I'm like, so, I mean, do you guys feel like that'd fit into your budget a little bit better? That's a good question you can ask, by the way. That's not in your manual. Do you feel like that would fit into your budget a little bit better? pretty low-key way of asking, kind of getting a feel for where they're at.
When I was doing a demo last night, when I went to go ask that question, the sale question, their answer was like just completely vague. It was just a blunt no. Does that sound like something you'd like to do? No.
Okay.
No anything on it, just no.
Well, and Alex, I mean, if you don't mind, do you mind if I ask exactly like, you know, is it a little bit too much money, or do you feel like there's just too many knives?
Okay.
I want to know what the real issue is.
Alright.
Is it too much money, or is this too many knives? So then when I drop down to the next set, if the money was the big deal, I'm going to really be emphasizing like how much less this set is. If it was too many knives, when I drop down, I'm not going to be really focusing on the money so much as I am like focusing on like, you know, this is just the most practical pieces.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Alright. And now let's say Kayla's like, well, James, that's still too much. And I'm like, alright, cool. And I just want to let you know too, we do have a trade for the galley as well. It kind of works the same way as the homemaker. I can't give anything for free, so I couldn't throw in a free kitchen tool set or a free pair of shears, but what I can do is if you trade in at least one old knife, I can take off this set here $143. So instead of it being $785, it brings it down to only $642. And this one on the deposit would only be $131. So literally $100 less than the homemaker was. What do you guys think? I'll just kind of get a feel for that. Okay? So you can just show them. But you gotta just make sure you show them each step of the way. Normal set, trade it. Normal set, trade it. Normal set, trade it. Show them each step of the way. And if you guys do the trade-in properly, with using your bonus points properly, you guys, you're gonna sell a lot every time. Like, it's really hard not to like write up orders consistently. As long as you're sitting down with prospects, you're following your manual, and you're asking for the order each step of the way, you're gonna do pretty well.
So when you do the trade-in, even for the homemaker, you can't throw anything into the set?
Correct. If they do trades, they don't get anything free.
Okay.
Cool? Does that help a little bit with like how to incorporate the trade-in? Okay, cool. Alright. That's all review, guys. That's really nothing new. Just want to make sure you guys understand how to use it. And stuff works, but if you don't incorporate it, it doesn't work. And I've even heard of like some people taking the bonus points and just not using them and still going with every fifth item for free. Okay, you can do that, but you're gonna miss a lot of sales if you're sticking with just every fifth item for free. I want to make sure that you get a chance to incorporate that bonus point system.
And Robert, we'll get you caught up on that stuff too. I know you're going to be here on Monday.
So, alright, having said that, let's dive in. First thing that I want to go over is this sheet right here. Now, this is a double-sided sheet. I want you to look at the side that says objectives of the demo first. We'll go to the next side here in a moment. You're welcome. So, first objective of any appointment you do, obviously, make a sale. Any sale today, you guys, is way better than a promise for that, you know, galley set at the end of the month when they get their taxes back. You're gonna get that a lot over the next like 3-4 weeks. Oh, you know what? We are totally doing this. We just filed our tax return. We're getting like $3,000 back, but we don't get it for probably like 2 weeks. But call us in 2 weeks and we're totally getting this. No, they're not. Because they're saying that about 20 other things for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Anytime they see something they want, they're like, oh, I'm totally buying that when I get my tax return. And then they're going to buy enough little things that they won't have enough of that one really cool thing they saw that one time. So it's just out of sight, out of mind. And you know, a trimmer. Sorry, this is outdated here. It says trimmer's 51. It's been a while since it was 51. It's $59 for something that they're going to use almost every day for the rest of their life. That's a good deal, by the way. I mean, shoot, $50 for something that you're going to use every day for the rest of your life. What else can you say that about? Like, there's just nothing else out there that's frankly going to last that long for that cheap. You know, not for $50 you can't. So that's a pretty good deal. But anyways, second objective is make sure you get some referrals. Some keys to referrals. Number one, obviously just memorize the approach. Hey, Chris, you can just grab the seat up here, but you made it safely.
I did.
It's nice, dude. Yeah, the roads are nasty. Alright. So number two is make sure, have the customer contact at least 2 new people for you that say yes. If the first person they call says no, more often than not, when a customer calls one of their friends up and they say no, a lot of time it's because they asked them the wrong way. In many cases, not always, but in many cases, sometimes customers just ask their friends the wrong way. They're like, hey, I've got this guy over here and he's selling Cutco knives. Do you know what Cutco is? And they're like, no. And they're like, oh my gosh, they're awesome. They're really nice kitchen knives. They're really expensive. But would you be interested in any like really good kitchen knives by chance? No. Oh, okay, yeah, I just figured I'd ask. I was trying to help them out, but yeah, call me sometime. I'll talk to you later. You know, and that's literally like their way of trying to get a referral for you. And they have good intentions. They just sometimes ask the wrong way. So, really important if you do get a no, just be like, all right. And, you know, they're like, yeah, they said no. It's just like, all right, well, hey, if you don't mind me asking, why'd they say no? And it's usually one of two things. One, they're not interested. Two, they already own Cutco. Those a lot of time are the 2 reasons you get the no's. It's really important you handle it after the first call though, because if you don't, they'll just continue to keep asking the same why, but they'll get lesser and less confident each time, and then they'll just continue to get all no's from there on out if you don't address it. So you got to make sure you address it. If they're like, yeah, they just said they weren't interested, just like, oh, I gotcha, no worries. You know, a lot of the people that I call aren't interested in either, and a lot of times they're just doing it to kind of help out. So I guess if you could, if anyone else says they're not really interested, just make sure they know, like, I don't care at all if they buy anything. Like, I'm just trying to get some appointments in this week, and if they'll just be willing to let me do a quick appointment with them, it helps out a bunch. And I try and re-emphasize that to them. And a lot of time, you just re-emphasizing it changes the way they ask the next person. Then they really emphasize on the next call, and they're like, you know, and you really don't have to get anything at all because he gets paid just to be able to do the appointment. And he's just trying to get some appointments in. So I wanted to see if you'd be willing to let him call you to try and set up an appointment. You know, and a lot of times just you addressing it changes the way they approach the next person. Now, if the first call is a yes, it says in most cases customers are going to be excited to make some calls on the spot. So after she gets a hold of somebody who does say yes, ask her if it'd be okay to go ahead and schedule the next person that she talks to here. And this is just a little approach that you can use on like how to get the alley-oop, and it just says, you know, so this is after they got a yes. They hang up, you say, hey, you know what, Mrs. Jones, sometimes people don't mind just setting up a time right away. And so if the next people you call do say it's okay, could you just ask them if I could talk to them for a minute? And they're like, yeah, it should be fine. Cool. And that's it. You'll notice there's a very assumptive line right there. It says if the next people you call say it's okay, that's assuming they're going to make another phone call. Like, hey, if on this next one, if they do say it's okay, do you think it'd be alright if I just talk to them really quick? Okay. It works if you use it. So then, a little reminder, another little tip for the alley-oop is when their friend says yes and they're talking to their friend, a lot of time they forget that you wanted to talk to them. And so they just kind of like hang up the phone. And they're like, oh shoot, you wanted to talk to him, didn't you? And I'm like, yes. You know, so literally all you gotta do is when you can tell their friend just said yes, just like make eye contact with them. Just do that. Did you see that? Hunter. That's all you gotta do. It's like you look at them like, that's it. And then they remember, like, oh, yeah. And then they're like, when it's the right time, they're like, well, here, they're here with me right now. I'll let you talk to them really quick. And just like remind them, just do the little phone gesture, and they remember you wanted to talk to them. And they'll hand you the phone. But Belle, shoot, you got 2 alley-oops on 1 appointment, right? It's a pretty good feeling when you walk out of the appointment with 2 more demos set up, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, you know, that's a great feeling. Like, how many of you feel pretty good when you, like, sit down to make phone calls and you get 2 more demos set up? Okay, that feels awesome. Imagine doing that every demo you ever do. How you'd be feeling. And think about how much less phone time you'd have to do at home if you could walk out of every demo with 1 or 2 more appointments set up before you even walk out of their house. It's a great feeling. So make sure you're utilizing the alley. Number 3, I'd star this one. This is probably the most important one on this whole page right here, is number 3. And this is something you can use to get a lot of referrals from people, is step 3 here. It says, for customers that know a lot of people to recommend, if they purchase something, use bonus points for a lot of recommendations. For every $100 they spend, they get 10 points that you can use for recommendations. For example, if the customer spends $300, they get 60 points to help make a sale, and then they have an extra 30 points to get recommendations with. So, just to kind of clarify, here's the real rule. You get 30 points for every $100 that the customer spends. Okay. Now, I know I told you before, you can use up to 25 points. It's technically 30. However, you should use 20 to 25 of those points to help you make a sale, and then you should use the other 10 to help get referrals with. Okay. So, look at example B. It says if the customer spends $300, you could use 60 points of the 90 to offer them something for free to help you make a sale. And then you could use the other 30 points to offer them something for extra referrals. So, like, for example, like an ice cream scoop is only 25 points, garlic press is only 25 points, so on and so forth. So you could be like, you know what, Tammy? Like, you've got 10 people on here. I know I told you if you get me 2, I can give you that peeler. But if you could get 5 yeses, I know you really like that ice cream scoop. I'd be willing to buy that for you if you could get me 5. You know, just call 3 of the others on here. I don't mind waiting a few extra minutes just because it's really worth it to me. I'm in this fast art contest, and that would just be awesome. And like, bribe them. Yeah, bribe the heck out of them. You know, people will do it all day long. So I got 15 yeses on the spot. So Sean Finley got 40 yeses on the spot. Bottom up hearing night for 40 yeses. And they were like, yeah, we'll totally do it. They wanted to help. But he was like, it was either hearing night or cheese knife. It was one of the two, but he's like, hey, I know you really like that cheese knife. If you could get 40 people, I would buy it for you. And like, the husband and the wife were both calling, and the 2 teenage daughters were calling their friends' parents for like an hour after the demo. And got them 40 yeses on the spot. Okay? So, you can get a lot of people from the right people. Not everyone's going to do this, but like, if they write down 15 people, you know, it's sometimes hard to get them to call more than 2 people right there, unless there's an incentive. Now, if they spend $600, shoot, you've got 120 points. I mean, holy crap. I mean, not 120 for referrals, but 60 points. I mean, even the Fisherman's Solution is only like 55 points. You could even get the husband bought in at this point. You could be like, hey, Rick, you know that fillet knife that you saw that you really liked? If you could help Joan get me 12 of these people to say yes, I'll buy it for you. Alright. You know, all of a sudden they're like off the couch, not watching the game anymore, and they're actually calling people, helping the wife to get you yeses, because there's a reason. There's something they get out of it. So, don't be afraid to bribe your customers. Now, you can obviously only do this if somebody purchases, but if anyone purchases, you can use that. So 30 points per 100 is technically the max. I have to clarify this. It's 30 points per 100 based off of CPO value though, not retail price. I have to clarify that. So it can't be based off CPO value. So I'll just use, for example, like Ben's got this order here for a homemaker. Okay? Now, on this homemaker, then offered him the kitchen tools and the shears for free, which was 20 points, or 200 points. Okay. Now the CPO value is right here. So by the time I get to referrals, I'm already going to know what my CPO value is, and I'm already going to know how many of those points I've already used up. So if I want to know my max points that I have total, I'll take my CPO value, which is 1034. Like the line 1 is 1079. That's the price. I have to base it off my CPO value. So that's the number you have to base it off of CPO value. But in this example, I could take 1034, multiplied by 0.3, and that tells me exactly how many points I have total. Maxed out, I cannot exceed this number ever. It won't go on, it won't even Rolo if I exceed it. But I know that this is the max I have. So I know that I offered him 200 points to give him those kitchen tools and shears for free. But I have an extra 110 points I could use to give him some extra incentive for more referrals. Now by the way, you don't have to use all 100 points. You know, you might find a 50-point item that is like really like a big deal to them, like maybe that cheese knife that they thought was just awesome, but they couldn't buy it or didn't buy it. And just like, hey, I'll tell you what, if you guys got me 10 yeses, I know you really like that cheese knife. And the cheese knife's $74 if you're going to buy it yourself. But if you got me 10 of these people to say yes, I'll buy it for you. And I'll tell you what, the leads from someone who bought a set are so much more powerful than the leads of a no sale. Just for the sake that when you go over to their house, when I'm showing them the homemaker, I can be like, oh yeah, this is the set that John and Kim got. Even if I don't say anything else, and that's all I said, them just knowing their friend bought that set and it's $1,000, they feel 100 times comfortable buying everything else. And a lot of friends try and outdo their friends. They'll like buy that set and that hunting knife, you know, and then they like sometimes like one up each other just because they like to do that. But use bonus points to help you get a lot of extra referrals. Cool. You guys understand how to do that? Any questions on this? Yeah, that'd be 30 points per 100. Like 0.2 is 20 points per 100, 25. Yeah. So, but you got to base it off CPO value. So, now, what I taught you guys before was I said just take the price and multiply by 0.2 or 0.25. I didn't say CPO value. Why? Well, it would take too long. When I'm in a demo, for me to sit here and figure out the CPO value for all this stuff and figure out both, it would take too long. I know that you can multiply by 0.25, and it's actually not going to ever exceed 30 points per 100, ever. And so if I had to, you know, I use the price. And that's why I just say take the price, multiply by 0.2 or 0.25. But when it all comes down to it, it's ultimately the CPO value. And it's ultimately 30 points per 100 is the max. Does that make sense? Any questions on this? Okay. Alright. Turn to the back of the sheet.